Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your hosts Edward McQueen and April Garner.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to our broadcast. You're visiting World Community Magazine live on Facebook, our network, wcmagazine.net, and YouTube. I didn't bother to hide my guest yet, so I'm going to keep him right on the side. But I do want to have him introduce himself. And today we want to talk about a journey of a native Oriite. Can I say that, Mr. Allen?
Yeah, yes, you can.
Okay, native Oriite, and we're very proud of that. So we'll ask him to introduce himself. But let me just, if I could, just give you a brief background on what we've learned about Mr. Allen. You're going to find it very interesting about our guest. He's an author. He's the founder and chief operating officer of MOA Architect and Inc. Aside from being a licensed architect, he's also a former Clemson football player who achieved great accomplishments, by the way. He enjoys giving back to the community, and we're certainly glad that he's a prime person to be giving back to Horry County. And he's also a youth mentor. And the title to author to his resume offers Michael an opportunity to reach all of our young people, which is the goal of WC Magazine Live. And by sharing his own stories, and this evening, we expect nothing less but to share a good story, but at the same time, and let us know how he became an architect, and hopefully others can be inspired by that. Mr. Allen also is the rendering architect that's on the project for the Whittemore Race Path Historical Society, which is the goal is to make sure that the status of or not the status, but the old Whittemore Elementary School, which is so dear to everybody, in is a black anyway in Horry County. It's so dear to us that he's on a team that is held by none other than Miss Cheryl Moore Adamson, who is heading that team, and among others. And he's going to also give us a little brief synopsis of that and where we stand. Before I get to Mr. Michael, to Mr. Allen, look, nearing the end of the show, we hope to have Miss Adamson, Reverend Cheryl Adamson, on the program to kind of further get into the collaboration that's with Michael and herself and the group that's under the Whittemore Race Path Historical Society. That's the group. It's a mighty group, man. It's a very powerful group, and very gaining a lot of influence in the area, and just finding, we're ready. Okay, so let's get with it. Michael, we have as a guest Michael Allen. Like I said, he's an architect, and we'll let Michael go ahead and introduce himself and tell everybody about yourself, because I think this is the first time we've had you on our program. So
yes, it is.
Yeah. So good evening, Michael, to you, and welcome to our program. And hopefully throughout this next hour that we can you can share some light on that. Yeah, I didn't mention that famous book. He's an author, but there's that book called and that which was the title that we sent out, Alone in the Forest. Okay. Michael, tell us a little bit about it, will you please, and yourself.
I appreciate it. I thank you for the time to be on. It's always good to be able to talk back with family and friends and the community. So as a lot of people know, some people don't know some things about me, but I'm born and raised in Conway. And I played football in Conway High School and was blessed enough to have athletic ability to be able to get a full scholarship pretty much anywhere in the United States. And after long thought process, I ended up choosing Clemson University as the school I wanted to extend my football career and education. And I immediately got into architecture program when I got to Clemson. So I played football, started at corner at Clemson, and I ended up majoring in architecture and graduating in 4 years. Was up for the draft, but as a lot of dreams, that dream didn't happen. So I actually had an agent at the time, and I actually ended up playing arena football and semi-pro football for about 6 years as I was still working in architecture. I wanted to make sure that I got my architecture license, and so I played football sort of on the side to kind of scratch that itch and pursue NFL. And again, after 6 years, it just didn't pan out, and I realized that God didn't call me to play football, and I ended up just retiring, hanging up the cleats, and I focused on architecture and my journey, and ended up um, working full-time architecture for some firms in Illinois. And then I actually moved back to South Carolina. I got recruited back to work for a firm in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and worked there when I ended up getting my architecture license and worked for a couple of firms here. And when I got my license, I kept getting this itch about who I was and running firms and running departments in some of the firms, and I felt that there were some things that I saw in the architecture design world that I felt strongly about the way I was running the departments, that I can do that in my own firm. And after about uh, you know, I think in '07 I moved back to South Carolina. So in 2019, I decided to make that jump and made the jump. We're 5 people strong now. 2019, coming into COVID, we survived COVID and the hard times in COVID, and the company is still thriving and growing. And so it's exciting time to see how the company has grown, and the work that we're doing really across the country. The firm is currently doing projects in 8 states right now. We're continually looking for um, young professionals, and we're looking to try to help brown and black kids that don't know about architecture, interested in architecture, and that's why we created our own foundation here. Just this year, we created our own foundation called Architects Foundation, and it's geared to mentor youth into architecture program. You may not end up going into architecture, but what our program is designed to do is tell you what it takes to be an architect and what it actually is to be an architect. Yes, we can draw a house. Yes, that's what most kids and young people understand, but we do so much more, and we want to educate and make your youth excited about being an architect. And so we have different levels of the way we mentor, from middle school all the way through early years of their career. And so that's been an exciting part um, to design. And so we're ready to get full fledged going on that program. And with that, for the elementary age, decided to do a children's book, and that's the Alone in the Forest book. And that book, it really sort of came in as a separate as the foundation, but it just tied right into what the foundation meant. I was basically it's about a little boy named Neil, and very adventurous young dude, and he mimics. It's basically a little bit about some of the things that I actually did as a young kid. Fictionized, of course. There are some things that uh, show how I had interest in engineering and architecture, and Neil basically is a young little architect, and he's his first adventure. Please follow him, and he's going to have about 4 more books about his adventures and things that he did to show you how his interests and smarts and curiosity about architecture comes to light in some of his adventures. So that's just a part of the way the book go, and Architects Foundation is here to stay and continuing to build a strong pipeline of young minority youth and kids and that have interest in architecture. And we need to get the number up in architecture. Still less than 1% African American architects that are registered in the United States, and so those numbers need to increase, and we want to be a part of helping that number increase.
Michael, I gotta ask this question. When you were playing football, and did you let them know that you were majoring in architecture, that you want to be an architect? Because I've heard of so many instances where the coach or whomever the organization wants you to concentrate on football only, so they look at architecture as a challenge, especially for us. Okay, they didn't think that you can do 2 things at one time.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
At the same time, they want to keep you in school, but they want you to graduate, so that goes on the record as graduating. So did you get that feeling, or can you kind of affirm that?
Well, it didn't really it didn't come out until probably like the end of my sophomore year. But yes, it was strong. I actually literally got told to choose between architecture and football. I had to make a decision between the two. And as a young man and 19, 20 years old, being told that it's one of those things that you really have to buckle up and do things on your own and change your mindset, because that's basically what it is. College sports is a business, and I didn't realize or think about it at the time, but that's just what it is. It was definitely a business decision for any college to, if you're going to give a full scholarship to an athlete, the main thing is to have you come play your sport and be an athlete for us giving you the full scholarship. So I understand that now. Still don't agree with it totally, but I understand why it was done. Not saying that it was the right way to do. And I'm just a different type of person that took that as fuel instead of making it be something that put me was able to focus. And I literally ended up graduating actually from Clemson in 3.5 years in architecture program while playing football. So I actually had to buckle down after hearing that. And it was a great time for me to get that focus, because I wanted to start on the football team. And in order to start on the football team, I had to work out. I had to study film. So I had to focus on architecture the same way as how do I get to these classes and be an architect. And so had to change my focus in both ways.
Yeah, I certainly understand the 2 points that you just conveyed. Okay, understand from their perspective that what they brought you there for, in order for them to profit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and your understanding of your aspirations of being of having a safety net in the event that you didn't make it in football.
Yes.
Which almost was your case. I mean, but you're an architect now.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
So but hopefully the young people will get something out of that, of listening to this, to help them make a choice, especially the athletes who or potential athletes with aspirations for becoming pro. And we're being rushed into that these days, man, because all these $1 million contracts and multi-million-dollar contracts, and I mean, we can't blame them.
Right? Oh no. Yeah.
So Godspeed on that.
Yeah. I mean, we are taught at a young age that we go to college to get a degree, to make money, to get a career, and that the most thing is a life in America of being prosperous and being able to support a family, all these things that comes with it. Buy a house, these American dreams. And so if you are growing up and your biggest asset is your athletic ability, that's your way and your ticket to that lifestyle. So that's just the way that it is groomed into us as one, just being Americans, but then two, as a good athlete.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that
No,
per
not at
se.
all.
But when you start getting the vast majority of our society to focus just on that,
Yes.
and don't have most of them don't have safety nets like you had.
Mhm.
It's an aspiration to become an architect, in which you are now.
Yeah.
Then that becomes an issue.
Yeah, it does.
Now, in your book, Alone
Mhm.
in the Forest, I read up quite a bit of it. I thought I read the whole thing, but congratulations to the graphics you got here, man. It's
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it stands out, and kudos to you on that. I saw that you were very creative in survivability. In connection with being alone in the forest.
Mhm.
It seems like the young man has his architectural abilities. His back is up against the wall, so he's building not a teepee, not a tent, but he built shelter.
Yes.
So, tell me a little bit more about that. Why did you think that if he's alone in the forest like that he'll have that ability? You think that was a God? That's in everybody? That's in every child?
No, just knowing how I was, it was more a trial and error thing. It was, I did hang out a lot by myself sometime when I was home alone or home. My sister was a little younger and my brother was a little older than me. So there were times when, I didn't have friends around and I wanted to just hang out, or so I'll just do things. I might go out there in the woods and play around and do things and try things. And so, putting things together and taking things apart, getting Christmas gifts and taking, my radio controlled cars apart and things I just did, taking some of the boxes and cutting holes in them and making them into things. So it was really more, by the time I was able to, like I said, and like in the book, you'll see is design something. It was more trial and error, not something that was taught. So for me, it was a strong interest in being able to do something like that. So that's why I always had some type of sketch pad or notebook that I did do. Either it was drawing a building or drawing a cartoon character. It was sketching and designing. So it was just in me. For me, it was in me, and that's how Neil is. It's just something that is in him, that he has this ability to create and design.
Yeah, Neil seemed like to be a go-getter, man. He's in the book. He
Yes.
didn't play. That's why I use the word "his back is up against the wall."
Mhm.
But that's a very good depiction, and I'm glad you're allowing to our audience to know that that's your journey.
Yes.
Okay, that's your journey. Um, what do you, if you were to speak in front of an audience of just young people, youth today,
Mhm.
about architect, would you? I know, because there are quite a few challenges out there in terms of trying to be profitable. Okay, would you tell them that that's a very, very profitable field to go into?
It is. It definitely is. So architecture is one of the type of careers that I tell a lot of youth that if you go into engineering or some of the high paying jobs like being an investment banker or a doctor or surgeon, something that's high paying. The difference is that a lot of times the reason that one of the reasons that the number of minority architects are not there is it's a tough career, because the studies that you have to do while you're in school, but then when you get out, it's low paying. It's low paying for your first 5 years, because architecture is one of those careers that depends on your knowledge of design and construction. So you really don't get that knowledge until you're out in the career working. So the quicker you can pick up uh, the ins and outs of design and construction, the quicker your pay will go up. But the thing about architecture, your pay really can't it can only stop as far as the firm can pay. So there are these billion-dollar firms all over the world that can pay a lot of money if you have the abilities and skills to design. And so the number depends on what type of architect you want to be and where you want to work. It depends, your salary can be one of those best salaries in a career that you can get. And then if you have to love architecture, because it is because of the grind that you have to do to become an architect. It's worth it, and it's for a reason too, because we have great liability on what we do. We can't design something and people are getting injured or getting sick from products we use in our design. So it's a lot of liability in it. So it's a reason why it's a tough career. But the satisfaction is being able to walk into those spaces when it's completed and seeing it and touching and seeing how your clients are enjoying and using the piece of art that you design.
Okay, let me just regress a little bit. Michael, before Miss Martha McIver stated she needed a copy of the book. Do you want to tell the audience how they can get a copy of the book?
Yes. Right now, we're selling them on our website, our foundation website. Our foundation website is architectfoundation.org, and that's ART. Oh, you putting it on? You putting it in?
I'm trying to get it in. Yeah, architectfoundation.org.
Yes. And you go to the website, it's up and running meant for resources for kids, but there's also a merch section that you'll see. No, it's spelled different. It's a fancy way we spelling it. It's architects, ARK.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
All
it's
right.
ARKITEX, Architects
Okay.
Foundation.
All right. Go ahead.
And you go to the website.
ARK.
ARKITEX Foundation.org. And our merch section, you go and you'll see the book as one of the pieces of merchandise you can purchase. That's
there
it.
You go. Architects. What made you want to make it that kind of? I'll say.
Well, I want to be really creative, but something sustainable.
Yeah, right.
When we're mentoring to young folks, we wanted to make things exciting and not too mundane or, for lack of a better word, boring. And so being creative and the word is it ties into how technology is driving some of the designs that we're doing and the softwares we're doing. So it's just very technical. It's a technical career also, and so the word just brought in and reeled in all those things for young people to be able to be attracted to.
And that's being creative to do that.
Yes.
To think of all the reasons why. Congratulations on that, man. Congratulations on that. So is there a phone number that you'd like to share?
Yeah, we if you want Architects Foundation number, or what do you
If they wanted to reach you about, for example, the cost of the book and how to get a book.
For the book, you can call, it's an 800 number, so 800-809-3717.
I think we can live with that.
And also, I mean, if you have anybody have any questions, again, on our website,
Is it 8? I'm sorry, 808 or 809?
809.
Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah.
And you can also reach us by going to contact us on Architects Foundation, and just send us a note of what you're thinking, interests. If you have a young person that's interested in architecture, and some of the resources that we have on the site now doesn't really answer their questions, pop us a question, and we'll get back to you, and probably end up posting questions and answers, just so that everybody and all other young folks can see the question and answer. So that space is available also.
Okay, and Michael, we talked about your firm, that you're the name of your firm is my understanding MOA.
MOA, yes.
MOA architecture.
MOA architecture, yes.
Inc.
Yes.
I think we can live with that. Yeah, we can live with that. So yeah, I'm just hoping that a lot of young people will, even if they're not looking at it live today, they can always go back, because it's being recorded, and you can go back to our website at www.wcmagazine.net. You can look at all the shows for the past, just about all of them anyway. So and we have another comment says, please tell us says Miss Joella McQueen says, please tell us about your project with Mayor Bethune Home.
So two things. Well, I would say this: that project is actually not going to happen now. We been working with the university, so we've been very proud to be partners with the university, and we've been helping them with multiple projects on campus. And Mary McLeod Bethune House actually became one of our projects early on. And the process for getting the funds and the project completed, we ended up helping them write RFQ for the project, and pulled away from actually being the architects on that project. We did a lot of the upfront stuff on the project, helped them do some structural evaluation and put some things in plan for the house. And we're probably going to help them foresee and see this through. But as far as being the architects on the project right now, we kind of just help them find new partners for the house, and we're still helping them on other projects on their campus. But as far as Mary McLeod Bethune House, still gonna be a successful project without us. We're just gonna be in the background.
Now, as part of the 100 Black Men that we took a field trip down there some time ago, I was very enlightened by what I saw.
Mm-hmm. It's a great campus.
Great campus, man. Really.
Yeah. And they have a lot of funding that they're using funds for renovating a lot of buildings on campus. And so we've been very fortunate to have touched some of their projects on campus as owners representation on some of the projects, overseeing some of the construction, and giving some design input on some renovation projects. So we love working with them, and we hope that our relationship will continue with them. It's a great campus, a great location, being in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, I really thought so. Man, I was impressed. Okay.
Yes.
I was really impressed. And they got all of her history. I think her house is located on
It's
campus.
right on campus.
right on campus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Her house was the first building on the campus.
Yeah. And I was impressed with the attitude of the students.
Mhm.
I really was, man. But anyway, see if we have any no more comments, right? But before we get to a little later on in the show, it's coming up very shortly. We want to talk about the Whittemore Race Path Historical Society project, which you're the architect on that, or an advisor, understanding. So we'll talk as soon as with Reverend Anderson cares to join us, then we'll definitely start talking about it. Okay. So I'm still elated over your book, man. Kind of fascinated with your book. I guess it's that little boy that's kind of got me a little bit. I think it's your graphical depiction of him. I didn't see a moment where he was really saddened. I saw him when excited to find, to like he's just found something, or he's left in awe. But I didn't see any point where he looks like he was going to give up on anything. Okay.
No, that's not the reason. I mean, I've learned about myself is that there's a time and place for sadness, and what Neil's depicting is he's excited about where he is in life. He has these curiosities that are in him that excites him, and he, in the series that you'll find is this excitement just spills out into being very creative, and that's what makes Neil happy. There's not going to be those, you won't see those days that any sadness that happens, because every adventure is something that is inspiring him to be excited about what he's going to design in this adventure. So it's exciting for him to be able to get out and sketch and draw and invent things. So
well, we have someone who wants to know what is the cost of the book.
The book is $16.99.
$16.99. Okay. I think your last presence in Conway, Oregon, I think a number of people bought your book. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. We definitely bought it. We definitely have it. So, congratulations on that again. I was really impressed, man. Again, but who? I know you being an architect, your development of the graphics of this depicting this young man. Did you change your mind one or two times as to how this young man should look?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a long process. I'm just like how I kind of created my firm. I feel strongly about how things look, and so I spent some time and went through a couple of artists. Even though I'm an artist myself, I wanted to find someone to assist us on this project. That's what they did as a career. I can draw, I can come up with a Neil, but it would have took more time for me to formulate what I was seeing in my head as a sort of cartoonish character. And so we reached out. We went through about 2 months of design with one artist, and ended up having to part ways because it just wasn't getting the Neil that I was feeling when I wrote the book. And so finding the second Neil and artist was easier for me because he really got it without me have to say a lot. So sent him the book script to read, and he immediately kind of understood and helped me with understanding how all the scenes in the book were to be depicted as well. muted.
Well, sorry about that. Yeah, glad you're a native son, by the way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and again, so we're I do want to get on this issue of um, the historical society. Let's talk about it a bit before Cheryl comes on.
Okay.
Okay, and kind of give us a little more than your thoughts, but um, the potential of us. When I say us, I'm talking about just the whole community, because we're all in this, trying to secure some sort of uh, 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 ownership, if I can use the word, for the community, and have something to say about the directions for which this land, if the entire building is demolished, some direction as to where we should go, and give us your thought on the possibility of that happening.
Well, I don't know if you know the latest news on the building, so it's gone now. So, unfortunately, that the past few months things have transpired with the building itself, and it's no longer there to be a part of the community, which is sad at the same time, and
Right.
a little um, disappointed. Lots of emotions, anger, those things happen. And professionally, the things that I have to think about is there are times when um, you you put things in place for good reason, and the good thing is that the organization reached out and got the right professionals to come in and be the voice that stood beside them, and it was great to be a teammate with the group and be able to put a package together to understand how the property can get back to the community. And so right now, um, the thing that professionally, what I would say is to continue to try to push the city into understanding that, there's things that as a municipality that you have to do to better your city. Yes. And there are things that you have to take in consideration as to what benefits your taxpayers, and that means
Absolutely.
some things can be um, some things are monetary with lower taxes, but some things can be more emotional or have an emotional value to it. And when you think about our history as African Americans in the United States, our history has been covered up and hidden for years, and some things are now being uncovered. Some things would never be uncovered, and so from here on out, for the future of our community, um, that's a piece of history that's gone. And unfortunately, I don't think that the city uh, put a lot of emphasis on that. That was not a big weight for them in their decision making. It was probably leaning towards more of what's best for the city overall, and not putting in consideration the community that's around this piece of property. That the benefits that something great could have happened with this building, that could have remained on the property. Um, that could be something that that could have been something that could have been a long part of African American history in Conway. And now it's to the point that you have to make a decision on what to do, and they still have an opportunity to do something. They still have an opportunity to give this property back to the community, that the community can make the decision on what happens with the property instead of the city being the sole um, ownership on the idea that what can happen and give back to the city. They have an idea based off of whatever matrix they're using for their city planning. That's what happens in a city. But you also have to, again, put in consideration of where a property is, where it's located, and to be able to really articulate how can this property give the community what they want, and how can we make this want um, fit into the overall city planning scheme and master plan.
Well, um, I think you laid it out pretty clear, that where we are now. And I wouldn't be surprised that some that the city um, it becomes quite flexible, okay, and wanting to have uh, um, have both parties coming away quite satisfied. Okay, like you said, it's in the best interest of the taxpayers.
Yes.
Okay, and in this jurisdiction, which has a diverse population, and this is not woke either. This is just you wanting to show your fairness to the population. Like you said, they're all taxpayers, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess I had to throw the comment on that.
Yeah, and it's funny too, as an architect, I've been fortunate enough to be a part of different types of city planning projects, from master planning to cityscapes to and just being able to be a part of a project that's community based. um, it's exciting, and so to be able to help come up with a design of something that gives back to a community that I spent a lot of time in is big for me. And it's not the monetary reason. It's more of really the meaning of preserving history. How do you preserve history through architecture is the excitement that I got from it. And hopefully that with more conversations and uh, sitting down and having these deep, really understanding meanings of this project, that can happen, that something can be designed that gives the community and the city something to be proud of. And there are a lot of projects across the nation that are very similar to this, that the city or the county decided to invest more time and money for a project that meant something more historical than a monetary value for the city. And so hopefully that this can be one of those projects that can, it can be big for the city itself to be a catalyst for some of the changes and some of the ways that you preserve a history that's been hidden and buried for so long.
Well, reflecting on that statement, you have Miss Tracy Williams, who said that you're well said. It was well said, not monetary, but preserving history.
Yes.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree. So I'm just, I haven't given up on that. I think the city would make a prudent decision. Nothing is final yet, right? Nothing is final yet.
Yeah, from my understanding, they're from a city's perspective, they're closing into the finish line or whatever. But there's still some hurdles that the foundation is putting in place to uh, slow this thought process down. So hopefully that there could be more real conversations. And I want to emphasize the real, because I've seen this happen with satisfying citizens instead of really considering that the efforts and the expertise are there to have some strong conversations. And so hopefully that tables can be set again, that we all can sit down and talk about ideas that we can come up with. Let's talk about designs that can help the city. Let's talk about designs that can give back to the community. And you know the thing about architecture is that architecture is emotional, and we can create a certain emotion based off of how we design something. And being able to design something in a community that now, especially that when the schools burn down, to be able to design something that gives in terms of emotion to happiness and excitement, that's huge. The opportunity is there. The city just have to buy into it and look for other ways and other areas of the city that they can build wealth and more money from. And again, partnerships is not just that it
Absolutely.
can be just the community, but there are opportunities that you can both give back to the community, something beautiful, something that's that encourages, and something that's like for historical value, but also opportunities that 378 is a strong highway that can draw in whatever the city decide that they need to um, put there that help bring in funds or create something that fits in their master plan. It all can kind of go together. I mean, there are opportunities and ways to do it that I don't know and haven't been in any of those meetings to talk through it straight, but there are opportunities that are there, that there are opportunities that the city and the community can work together to have both values for this piece of property.
I think that the city, well, any jurisdiction would have no other choice than to be amenable to citizens who are strongly have a strong position on development, for example, and anything that's going to do both the city and the group, or the advocacy group, do both of them well. Okay,
Yeah.
I think it's in the best interest of all of the city itself, from a revenue position, revenue generating position. I think we can come up with something where both could be quite happy, I believe.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it wouldn't be wise for the city or anybody else to not have the appropriate people at the table. Okay, that should be encouraged upon in their planning stages for that area. Because after all, if I'm not talking out of line, I think it's about 10 acres we're dealing with here of land.
Yeah, I think it is a little over that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of land that can be used for multiple things. But I think that um, again, the thought process, I'm not sure how much the city includes um, citizens on certain design or master planning opportunities, but that's a great opportunity if you don't want to, if you're hesitant about selling or transferring the land to the community, bring the community in to help plan it out. There's so much opportunity there, and again, it's sitting in the heart of the community that it just makes sense. It just makes plain sense to design something that that the community can have pride in and continue the historical value of preserving the historical value of that area.
I think that's the key word. Is historical. That's the key word. Historical. Not with the historical sign up there saying this was Whittemore Elementary School. Blah blah. I think a bit more than that.
Yes.
And I don't know how much of a challenge it is for the city to convince the surrounding neighborhood that's going to be impacted by that, to convince them that it's in their best interests. Okay, to go one of their suggested ways. Okay, I think. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think that's gonna be a a problem for them. Just seeing, going off of historical knowledge of this past year, they don't have a problem with telling the community what they need. So it's one of those things that you have to, um, if you crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's, do what you as a community can do with the power that the community has, and that's one thing that the power is the numbers, is getting it involved and having everyone participate and not looking from the sidelines, because everybody knows somebody, and it's really taken um, it's taken to getting that one person to change someone's that's in the decision room at the city uh, to really understand the impact that it's doing. And so as long as that opportunity sits there and open, the city has plenty of opportunity to help um, bring community in and help the community help, instead of them trying to just tell the community what needs to be done.
Oh, I haven't told anybody this, not anybody in my family, anybody. But I was thinking about this for some time. If it came to something like this, this came to what the stage of it is right now, that I would suggest that maybe if they had, at the point of requesting input from the neighbors, that they allow the citizens to submit drawings when it comes to the part of having a structure on that land. Have the community submit drawings that to be chosen as part of the input, and if not having a contest, but a drawing that they think that all the neighbors will be in agreement to. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if the drawing comes up to say it's a replica of the old Whittemore Elementary School, they might do that. You never know. You know, because at least that's displaying the feelings of the citizens in that community and the desires.
Yeah. One of the things that we are good at MOA is we do design charrettes. And what a design charrette is bringing all the key participants and decision makers into one room. So just put it in this instance. So it'll be city folks, it'll be community, it'll be outside the community, but city residents overall, and bring everybody into one room for about 2 days, right? And we go through this whole process of analyzing just what you're saying. We will put together a agenda to help the city and the community pull out those ideas. And our job as the designers is to take those ideas and put a graphic representation to those ideas. That can be motion, it can be real words, or whatever it becomes. We pull out all that information and be able to help the city understand what both you as the city and what the community and the citizens of Conway in general feel is best for that. So everybody that's in that room are key stakeholders in this design process that it pulls out. So at the end of this process, whatever this design is and the way that it looks, the key people had their hands in it. So you cannot deny and be against it, because you had your voice, everybody had their voice, and it's a very uh, a great way that whatever that design ends up being, uh, it's some satisfaction from all parties, because we were in this together and we spent this time to talk through these ideas and come up with what makes sense for this design. And these design charrettes are done a lot of times at the beginning of a lot of projects, to just do that, to be able to, like a hospital, you get all the doctors and you get all the administrative people, and then you get the city people to understand. So you get every type of design that impacts the community can be done like this. And so it's something that the city is not afraid of, and taking your idea. Sketches can be done in this process. These sketches can be done in that process.
Well, whatever you just said, I think reflects an answer to Ms. Marjorie McIver's comments. She said she certainly hoped that whatever city decides, that the group will be an integral part of it, from decision making to the final plans. And I hope that you, as an architect, will be considered as well.
Well, thank you.
And I think you just addressed that, a few minutes ago. But nonetheless, there's unity in the community. So that is the key, according to Mrs. McQueen.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, Michael. So look, man, unless we get some more comments, you shed the light on a lot of stuff, and I'm still in awe of your book, man. I guess it's the graphics of the little guy. Now I meant to ask you in the beginning, not in the beginning, but further back. Why you say alone in the forest? Why do you think? Why that scenario?
Well, it's just because this is the first book of the series. And so this first book is just kind of really being able to put a highlight on Neil himself and Neil's personality and the thought process Neil has going through his adventures. And so being alone just adds to the opportunity that you get to know and get to enjoy and love and fall in love with Neil. And that's the reason that he's alone, is because now being alone, and we know that alone time sometimes you can think better, and Neil really needed to think in this first adventure. So it was an opportunity for you to get to know the character himself. And so hopefully that when everyone buys their book and multiple books for other kids, that they reading these and the kids can understand that too, that it's just a way that you're learning Neil, getting to know Neil, because he is alone in this first book.
All right, but these comments still keep coming, man. It says thank you for all of your efforts, from Ms. Priscilla Fuller. Ms. Fuller is a regular that sends in our comments. We certainly appreciate the comments. Of course, we have what we call a summer literacy program, and also it's in collaboration with our summer jobs program. Okay, the World Community Magazine has, we provide jobs for youth from the age of 14 to 17. Okay, we just pick them randomly. Whomever comes and says they want the job, we try to facilitate that. Where we get the money from is just from donations from people in general. We send out solicitation and ask them if they would want to contribute to our summer job program. And that is in collaboration now with the summer literacy program headed by Mrs. Marjorie McIver. And so she says that she's going to say thank you, and she will try to incorporate your book into the summer literacy program. Okay. And what she does what she does is that she provides books, assigned books to all the children that take part in this literacy program over a period of time. I don't know, a number of weeks, and their assignment is to read a book and summarize it at the end, and with questions, sometimes with graphics. It's very, very interesting. I find it to be very compelling. So again, she's going to try to incorporate as one of the books that to demand that the students read this summer in her program, Alone in the Forest.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, we're getting somewhere, man. Okay. So, look, thank you so much, Michael. And it's really been a pleasure. I've gotten a lot out of it. Okay, I've gotten a lot of explaining that you've done to the book, and questions that I've had that you've addressed regarding the book, and also an update on the Whittemore Race Path Historical Society, the status with the hard work and the efforts being put forth there by the society.
Yes.
To keep a legacy alive. Okay.
That's right.
We want to ensure our audience that our legacy is not going anywhere. It'll be in there somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. It will be in there somewhere. So we're not finished yet. Sorry, I had to shift my graphics there, but the legacy will be there. We're not going anywhere. We'll be at the table.
Yes.
Okay, we will be at the table, and our input will be there, and it's going to be a very amenable gathering at the table. We're going to come to some solutions where everybody's going to be satisfied, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And good luck on your trails. Godspeed.
Thank you. Thank you. I tell everybody to just continue to follow Architects on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and a website. Please feed the website and social media to young people from middle school to early college, early career, so that we want to just continue to be a resource to increase our numbers.
The website is moarc.com.
Yep. Everything is going to be linked between our company website and the foundation. So, you'll find both. And that way, everything that you purchase on our Architects Foundation website, 100% goes towards the foundations for us to continue to create content and resources for educating young people in architecture. So 100%.
And again, it's his phone number. You can reach him 800-809-3717. 800-809-3717. So again, Michael, it's been a pleasure. And,
thank you.
Right. And we will be talking again. Make no mistake about it. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, to our viewers, we certainly appreciate you tuning in with us this evening. And next week we'll have another guest for you. I believe we're going to be talking about domestic abuse, and that should be an interesting topic, as it was greatly propagated, if I use the word, or conveyed here about a week ago on the national news about something that's really being overlooked, and even in Horry County, especially in Horry County. So hopefully we'll have some principal people here to talk about it and to see what's being done and what you can do to prevent domestic abuse. So until next week, thank you and Godspeed, and hopefully see you again next week. Till next week, thank you.